The name of this talk, which I was given, I did not dream this up, is What is Your Why? And this turned out to be a very powerful question for my last experience since I started working on this. And it's amazing to me how powerful questions can be, because they direct our attention in ways that, oh my gosh. But you know what happens with attention? If you give something attention in your life, it grows, it expands, it blossoms for good and for not so good. And that's why the freedom from discord, we're going to be looking at all of this. So why is a really potent word. It's very big. And I want to look at first the shadow why. And the shadow why is those unanswerable questions that we come up with, that my brain sometimes gets on the unending loop. Why? And there's no logic, there's no reasoning, nothing, there's no way to answer the question. It's a constant why. Like one of them is, why do bad things happen to good people? Why do bad things happen to good people? Because if you get looped into something like that, it's sadness, it's disappointment, it lowers your energy, which is immediately what happens. Your energy goes down. Why did this happen to someone I love? Why did this happen to me? Now, I have asked myself these questions, and I would bet, I don't bet much, I don't like to lose money, but I would bet that most of you have asked yourself a why question that drove you nuts. It's an unanswerable question, and as long as you're holding that unanswerable question, you're the hamster on that little wheel, and you're not progressing, you're not embracing the higher truths because you're so focused on something that will never be satisfactorily answered in your mind, because it's not a logical reasoning kind of question. And so the more we cling to that, it's an obstacle to our happiness, to our lightness of being, to our growth. So those kinds of whys, and sometimes they're part of the grieving process, but the longer you cling to that why, you're prolonging it. Why put yourself through that? It's really hard. I've been there. One of the things that we could do with that, though, is to allow ourselves to experience the feelings and the emotions that we're having, and let the thinking part go. Just go into how you're feeling and truly experience that, because that feeling will have a chance to move through you. You can let go, you can take your attention away from it, take your thoughts away from it, just to feel and know that that's a temporary feeling. And it's appropriate a lot of the times. But if you fight it and you look for the why, you're perpetuating it. There's a book that I came across, and it's called When Prayers Aren't Answered, but it's ... the way we want them to be. Because prayers are always answered. I don't always like the answer I get. I don't know about you. But the experiences that we go through in this kind of situation are change agents for us. They're catalysts for us to grow and expand and be more fully who we are, the light and the love in the world. And so the fact that we feel deeply is so key, because that means we're experiencing life to the full. That's one of the things that song reminded me of. and all the stuff that's been going on in the last few weeks is to grab life and really live it. Embrace it, all of it. Even the part that I say sucks. All the love, all the light, everything. Embrace it. Because that's telling you you're really alive. You're really present. And then when we develop that trust and know that we can get through it, all our doubts and fears, the proportions change. Because our attention goes to a loving community. We're not alone. So letting go of that why question, is just so key. And I have a couple personal stories, one of which, so funny. Darn it, whenever I do a talk, there's all these lessons for me. And this is a big one. So a week and a half ago, I got a phone call from my sister, Elizabeth. Some of you have met her. And she told me that she'd just been diagnosed with breast cancer. And so we had a period of time when we didn't know and what was going to go on. And she's very happy because the treatment plan is it's light right now, so it's very good. So she's good. I saw her yesterday. Everything's great. But it's so funny because we went to the whys. So why did this happen? Okay. Well, my sister's answer was the genetics. That's why it happened. It's because of our genetics. Yeah, I don't know. My why I came up with, which was very self-serving actually, is that she's been working too hard. She works in the corporate world, has for years. She lives in the Bay Area. She's going, stress all the time. She's in sales, all this. So I made up that story. That was my answer to the why question. But the question of why she got cancer is not answerable. And when I come up with the why, that, she was just too stressed, she could look at that I'm blaming her, or she could blame herself because she was stressed out. Not helpful. Hurtful. So it's like, and she's just the world to me. So the why question wasn't serving either of us. It's like, what do we do next? And I can look in the past. That's present, pretty present. I can look at the past and, okay, why did my parents divorce? I can't answer that question. I was a little kid. They don't even know, maybe. They're not here to ask. I cannot answer that question. That why question is useless. And then this morning, bless his heart, Gary went to Costco yesterday because I couldn't go. And I went in the closet today in the garage and I saw 8 tubes of toothpaste. It wasn't funny when I saw the toothpaste. And the question that came to my mind was, why did you buy so much toothpaste? Do you hear the accusatory little niggly in there? So I go, okay, I'm doing a talk about why. And I just asked a why. So, okay, how can I phrase this differently? So we talked about it, and we had a little joke, and then I said, can I use that today? And he goes, of course. That's one of the downsides of living with a minister. You show up in the talk. And I explained that to my sister, too. I said, can I use you? Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so it goes back to those whys. What stories do we create out of those whys? What do we come up with? And does that story serve you? Well, then maybe it's not got so much bad energy on. But if it doesn't serve you, like, why my sister, I don't know. All I know is I love her, and everything's going to be fine in prayer. And so do the stories that we create, and it's like you can't stop making stories. That's just the way we are. We will make stories, but make up good ones. Don't make up stories that are going to make your life suck. I hope Lanny doesn't listen to this. Anyway. She'll be so busy, she won't have time. So the other thing is the stories you make up are going to be like reruns. It's oftentimes it's like you've explained it this way once and you explain it that way again. It's like, oh. I can stop and think, okay, last time I did this, last time I asked this why question, what was the result? Did I like that result? Okay. If I didn't like that result, hey, look, you've got an opportunity to shift. You can shift that consciousness. That's why almost if a why is a trigger in your mind, it's really a cool thing. So unanswerable questions usually indicate that stuff's out of our hands, which is why the song was so perfect. So if it's unanswerable, there is nothing in your hands to do. Now, there are things you can do. You can pray. You can meditate. You can be of service. You can be around other beloveds. And I know that people in this community use those tools, use those ways of being together and being. So I would encourage you always to do that. And to stop asking yourself those unanswerable questions. So, what unanswerable questions are you carrying around within you right now? And I'm going to give you a minute to think. Is there a gnawing question that keeps haunting you? Yes, it's that one. It's whatever you came up with. And you can keep asking yourself that question. Because it's about heightening your awareness. It's about knowing what's next. Now, there is good news in why. And that is that you can transform your why into a what, a who, a how. Now, the how, of course, is Spirit's domain. You don't need to know how. You just need to know it will happen. It happens. So you can transform into what's and who's and all those different things. So there's different ways to look at things. So I came up with this little acronym. It's just, okay, so Y, or W, stands for what instead of why. And H stands for helps or hinders. And then Y is you. So if you say why, you can say what helps you or what hinders you. And then you have another choice. Then you're living a choice. You're not on the little wheel of the hamster. Ernest Holmes tells us to inquire why life itself is useless. For life is self-existent. And all the science, wit, and art of man can never fathom that which is self-existent. I am that I am. I am that I am. He also says, if man's life is of God, which is what we believe in this teaching, and that it comes from a source that has no beginning. So to question why he is, why we are, must forever remain unanswered. God could not tell why God is. So, and we are not, he also goes on, we are not so much interested, however, in why we are, because we are, but we are interested in what we are. And we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So, you can transform your whys into a question that will serve you. But also, there are why questions that really work for us. That's the good news. So, does the why question you're asking spur you forward? Is it a motivating thing? Some of you worked in the corporate world, I did, and one of the things that was there was W. Edwards Deming, and he was a continuous improvement guru. And he would have us ask why. So this is a very mundane an example you probably have heard before, but when you're cooking a pot roast and you cut off the ends, it's like, well, why do you do that? I did it because my mother did that. Well, why did your mother do that? My mother did that because her mother did that. And why did great-grandma do that? Because it wouldn't fit in the pan. And then it becomes traditional to cut off the ends of the meat. It's like, so sometimes asking why in a inquiring kind of way is very powerful. It's like, well, like, why am I doing this? It didn't turn out well last time. Or, why? And you can go multi-layers. So it's like, you answer it, it's like, well, why is that? Well, why is that? So you can always think of the pot roast. Or, whatever. I'm a cook, so it makes sense to me. Yeah. So one other thing that some of you may know about me is I've gone onto a new eating plan. So this is where the why serves me. Why do I want to change the way I eat? Because I want to be healthier, I want to have more energy, I want to be around my loved ones longer. All these whys serve to motivate me. So that's the other side of why. Why would I do that? I was just at a bunch of parties, and a lot of people thought I was nuts because there was all sorts of good stuff I passed up. But it wasn't good for me, and I made the choice. And so why do I do that? Why did we throw a birthday party for Reverend Lanny? Because we love her. So it's that's a great question. It's why do something? Okay, why do you get out of bed in the morning? I heard somebody answer. I didn't hear what they said. But why I get out of the bed in the morning is so I can play with beloveds. I can play with people I love. I would get lonely, no offense, honey, but I would get lonely in bed all day by myself. He wouldn't be there. He's off doing something. So I get out of bed to be with the people I love. Another way to look at that question maybe is, what's my purpose for today? What is my essence that I'm bringing to the world today? So it's just, So asking a why could be an aha or a curiosity. A lot of times, cool stuff starts with, well, why does the sun do that? Or, what's with that? Picasso said, others see what is and ask why. I have seen what could be and ask why not. And then he created, he's so creative. And that has been paraphrased all sorts of different times. Lots of different places have said that. In business, this is success, but you get to define your own success. James Allen says, why? Why not? Why not me? And why not now? So if you have a dream or something that you want to see in your life, in fruition in the world or whatever, Sierra Roots, why not now? Why not solve that problem? And I can't do today without saying this. Marianne Williamson said this. Over the years, many people on a spiritual journey have asked me why I keep going on about politics. And many people involved in politics ask me why I keep going on about spirituality. So either way, she's cooked. But I want to remind you, please vote on Tuesday if you have not already done so. It's very important. It's very important. So, the future is being created by all of us. And if we believe that we have a purpose, then so does every butterfly, pocket mouse, and beam of light. And that's a futurist, Tom Fry said that, or Frey. So our questions do create our future too. So why do you get out of bed? What's today about? And so please remember that why is a powerful question. And you have your path, I have my path, and I care about you because we're one. So our affirmation for today is I align myself with spirit and I'm true to myself. So let's say that together. I align myself with spirit and I am true to myself. I align myself with the spirit and I am true to myself. I align myself with spirit and I am true to myself. Thank you so much. Namaste.